You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting The Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
It is a fun day in studio. We are live in studio with the Robo Raiders robotics team of Mascoutah, Illinois. And we actually have a live demo of their new robot for this year.
Yes.
So in a little bit, you want to check out Facebook Live. We'll go live, in the second half of the program.
Probably.
So we can see the robot and the students in studio as well. Joining us in studio, we have 5 students from the team. So this is not the whole team, but some of the team here to represent the Robo Raiders. Cal, welcome.
Hello.
And we also have Nathaniel. Nathaniel, welcome back.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Elena.
Hello.
And Austin.
Hi.
And Aiden, welcome.
Hello.
So you all were chosen to represent the team this year on the air to demonstrate your robot, and we'll learn a little bit about your robot. But first, let's learn about the team and what your team does, what the Robo Raiders do. So first of all, who are the Robo Raiders? Who makes up the team? We learned a few of your names, but who are who is this team, the Robo Raiders?
So on the team, we have actually some different roles on our team to build the team. That way, each person has a certain task that they take care of at each meeting. So, for instance, I'm the engineering lead.
I'm actually the project manager for the team.
I am the outreach lead on the team.
I am the assistant project manager and the programming sub-lead.
And I'm the marketing lead.
As far as who our team is, we are a Christian homeschool robotics team that meets in St. Louis, Mascoutah. So we meet in our mentor's garage to work on building a robot every year. So we have a new challenge that we need to build the robot to complete. And so this year we have to build a robot to basically pick up cones and then score them on high poles all throughout the field. And we'll probably talk about that a little more later.
That sounds very exciting. Every year it's a new robot and new team members, which is really fun. So you all mentioned the title. I'm curious what each of you actually gets to do on a daily basis, whenever you guys meet. How often do you meet?
Yeah.
Okay, so daily basis. So what are your roles? What do you actually get to do being involved in this teamwork? Where do you kind of fit in that puzzle piece?
So like I said earlier, and as the team mentioned, we each have a different role. So like as the engineering lead, I make sure, so currently like our robot, whenever we are building it, you have different systems on it. So like you have your drivetrain and you have our lift and our collection and our turntable. Well, all those have to be planned and designed before we build them. So kind of as my job as engineering lead is to figure out, talk to the team what our game strategy is. So for the game, we each, like we said, there's the polls that you have to score, so we have to create a strategy in order to complete that. Then once you have that, you go about, okay, what systems do we need in order to complete that strategy? And then you go from there, okay, drivetrain, we need to be able to move around so quick around the field, what type of motors. So you break down each strategy and part of your game in order to complete and build a robot.
And I am the project manager for the team, like I said before. So basically, I am in charge of making sure that everybody does their tasks on time and making sure we schedule the meetings and everything. So we meet officially twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for a couple hours. And so we kind of have discussions for the first part of the meeting and then actually building and programming the robot for the second half. But then also we generally do lots of outside work at home and meeting to build the robot in extra work sessions. And actually right after this, we're going back to the garage and getting drive practice to the robot because we have a competition coming up this Saturday.
Oh,
so
fun.
we need lots of drive practice.
Cool.
So I'm the outreach lead. So what that involves, I plan all of our outreach events. So, for example, this summer we had a summer camp. It was a 5-day summer camp for second grade students through 8th grade, and we had 4 different classes. So through that, we were able to teach the students robotics. We were able to teach them engineering skills, how to build and program. So that was really cool and fun.
Like I said, I am the project manager assistant and the programming sub-lead. So basically I help Nathaniel with scheduling and making sure the deadlines are getting mostly on time and programming sub-lead. So I help program the robot as well as create the tasks that need to be programmed on the robot.
And I'm I'm the marketing lead, so I make sure I look after the finances on our team, our social media, like our Instagram and Facebook and all of that. But I'm also under Cal, which is engineering. So I'm under him building the robot and all of that. But because we only have 6 members on our team, we basically all do the same thing. So yeah.
There's a lot of helping each other out on the team because there's so few members. But it's a chance for all of us to learn to do different things and not just do a certain design or programming.
And you're not just building a robot just to build a robot.
No.
There are some things that come along with this. You're participating in a competition. Tell us a little bit about the competition. What does it mean to why participate in a competition, and what happens in a robotics competition?
So, yeah, we have 3 league meets, which are smaller competitions with 12 or so teams involved. And so based on our robot performance, we are seeded. And once we're seeded, that's what we start with going into qualifiers. So right now we're ranked 2nd in our league, but after our competition this Saturday, it might change. So our qualifiers is a bit bigger with about 24 teams, but it differs depending where you are. And the qualifiers are different than the league meets because you have a judging session, and you basically talk about everything that you do over the season. So the robot design journey, outreach events like Elena was talking about. And then it varies every year, but for this year, the top 5 teams from qualifiers move on to the state competition. And then from state competition, the top 2 teams move on to Worlds.
That is very exciting. So how many of you, is this a first year for any of you?
No, we've all been on the team.
All been on the team.
Our first team.
So you all have been through these competitions last year as well. So what have you learned from your experience going through this already that's helping you this year to build a robot? Things that you've learned from competition, from building, that you're putting into practice this year as you're going into the qualifiers?
So I would say one thing is deadlines. So engineering sometimes does not like to get done on time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So programmers, we kind of plan according to that, give ourselves a little bit of leeway time, and just realizing that not everything is going to get done when we want it to get done. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of that, as the project manager this year, I've definitely learned to schedule things a little better. So when building this robot, we had a hard deadline for when we needed to have it done, but then right after that, the programming needed to take the robot, but there were still lots of tweaks that needed to be done. It was technically done, but didn't work fully yet. So that's something that I've learned this year to really keep in mind.
And one other thing just to add that's kind of really great about FIRST is, like, Nathaniel and I, we're both seniors on the team. Nathaniel's been in FTC for 4 years. I've been in 6. And you learn something new every single day. It's whether it's the project manager, you've been here for 4 years, but you're still learning something new on how to plan things, but better. So that's something that's really great about this program.
So you're learning about engineering, you're learning about robotics. You're also learning, it sounds like, about working on a team, or working together, whether it's on a team or small or large, whether it's your subgroups or the whole team as well. What are some things you've learned about yourself while serving on this team? You've learned a lot about your teammates. What have you learned about yourself?
So one thing I've learned through the opportunity FIRST has given me is teamwork skills as well as communication skills. FIRST is a program that gets you out of your comfort zone. You're doing so many things that you wouldn't do normally in, playing a sport or, in chess club. So doing things like going out on a radio show and speaking with people, or in judging sessions when you have to talk to the judges, and then as well as you have to work with others who may not get their deadlines done or who may not, get what they need to get done. So you're working in a team environment, but you're also learning so many new skills along the way.
Something I've learned throughout my entire time is, we'll probably say this a lot, but this program is really more than robots. So I've definitely learned a lot about the engineering process and how to build a robot, but it's showed me that I really enjoy like graphic designing and video editing, which I've had the experience of doing through my time on the team. So that is something that I actually want to pursue in college as a potential career and major. So yeah, this program is really a lot more than robots.
One other thing that's really great about it is just learning, like Nathaniel just said, the design process. It really makes you think in a different way, how to break down each issue. Like I know from my first year, I started when I was like 10 or so. But you've learned so much of how to break down each issue and then how to expand that and be like, okay, so we have this issue. How are we going to fix that? You know, it's a different mindset that really helps you in your everyday life.
Mm-hmm. So one thing behind the scenes that our listeners didn't hear was that you guys prayed before we went live. So how does your Christian faith play a role in this robotics team as you guys are working together and approaching all of these competitions? How does that play a role?
So one thing, like you said, we prayed before our interview here, but we try to pray before every meeting, at the end of every meeting, before every match in our competition. So we try to make God the center of everything that we do and work around it. So for instance, like in FIRST, that's the organization that we're through, one of their core values is gracious professionalism. And kind of what that is you can think about it a lot like the golden rule. You know, you want to treat others as you would want to be treated yourself. So, for instance, like in a competition, if a team needs a part, something broke, you could give them, let's say, a motor, and that motor helps them beat you in the next match or something. That's kind of what it's all about, is not just helping yourselves, but building others up along the way.
Gracious professionalism. Yeah. What else have you guys learned about that as part of this process? That was a great example, Cal. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone want to add to that? What you've learned or what it means to be a Christian in a robotics competition?
Well, I'm just going to add, like, again, so in the competition, you know, it's not just, we don't just pray with ourselves. We try to, because there's alliances and stuff. So you try to pray with the other people around you. That way it's not just yourselves, but building yourself up in Christ, but building the others around you in Christ as well. Mm-hmm. And maybe someone else would like to build on that.
It sounds like you're learning about vocation as well in this process, and learning a little bit about yourself and what your future vocations might hold as well. We are talking with the Robo Raiders of Mascoutah, Illinois, and coming up in just a little bit, we get to actually see a live demo of the robot that they engineered, designed, built. Looking forward to that in just a moment. We'll learn more about that robot in just a little bit. You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
You're a miracle. You know that, right? A living, breathing, one-of-a-kind miracle. You were created to stand apart, to share your gifts in the service of others, to make an uncommon impact in a common world. And at Concordia University, it's our mission to help you do that, to live uncommon. To learn more about Concordia, go to cuw.edu.
Welcome back to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
So we're going live on Facebook, right?
We are live on Facebook.
And the things you hear in the background, well, you'll find out more. You got to go on Facebook Live to see what's happening in studio today. We have the Robo Raiders robotics team from Mascoutah, Illinois in studio. And check out at KFUO Radio on Facebook. You can find us there and see what's happening in studio with the robotics team here in studio. All right, your robot. Tell us about your robot this year. First of all, the name of your robot.
Yes, so we named our robot Rotato.
That is the best name ever, I'm just saying.
Thank you, yes. So we named it that because our entire top part of our robot is able to rotate independently from our bottom. So we'll start with the bottom. The drivetrain it's called a Mecanum drivetrain. So it's really cool because it's able to go sideways in addition to forward and backward like other drivetrains would. So basically the rollers on the wheels are at 45 degrees. So if the wheels spin in opposite directions, then it's able to go sideways. So that's something that's really helpful during the maneuverability of our match. And then on top of that, we have our turntable, which is able to turn the entire top part of our robot. That's why it's called Rotato. And then on the very front of the robot, you can see we have a collection system, basically 2 rubber band spinners that spin and kind of suck a cone into itself. And then that entire system is able to lift up and then score on top of the poles that are spread all throughout the field. So yeah, like we said before, there's a 12-foot by 12-foot playing field that 4 robots are competing to score the most points. And so your alliance partner for one match may be your opponent for another match. You have to be able to work with all sorts of teams.
This is impressive. It really does move sideways.
Yes, it does.
It glides sideways. That's impressive.
This is so cool. Okay, now 2 of you have remote controls.
Yes.
So what are you guys doing?
So
Sorry, I distracted.
Now they can't run the robot while they're talking.
So Aiden's the driver of the robot, so he controls the turntable and the drivetrain, and I'm the operator, so I control the collection and the lift. And our main objective is to score as many points as we can. But a big part of that is communicating with each other. So he is the one controlling the turntable and the drivetrain. So he's the one doing all the adjusting. So he has to tell me when I should deliver the cone. And so it's just a lot of communication that goes into play.
Then also during a match, I am the coach for Aiden and Austin as the driver and operator. So I'm able to look around at the other teams and what they're doing, so that we can kind of stay out of the other team's way and be able to tell them where to go to score the most points most efficiently.
So basically the robot is picking up cones and stacking them on a pole right now. This is pretty impressive. So I could see how this would be useful like on an athletics field as well. So you don't have to pick up the cones afterward. So tell us about design and engineering, where the idea for this robot began.
So like we kind of mentioned earlier, we go through a design process. And in that design process is researching different type of designs. So like the Mechnim wheels, for instance, that's something we've kind of used over the past few years and something we found that works. And like most things in engineering, you find something that works and that's consistent and you keep using it. But for instance, the Lazy Susan, we actually found that from another team that's higher up, they used a turntable very similar to it. So we were like, how can we make this the most simplistic that we can? So we went on Amazon, and that's literally just off of Amazon, and it's a Lazy Susan. So we bought that, and we were able to throw a wheel underneath it to give it the ability to rotate, and that has really helped us in our competition in order to give us a kind of an advantage. And then like our collection as well, we've had a few different designs. Before we had like a little, it was kind of a mold of the cones that would go on top of it to release it. Now we have this rubber band spinners that allow it to go in, and they just rotate in opposite directions, sucking up the cone, and then to deliver it, which has actually helped us a lot in our process and in our competition to speed it up.
Yeah. So our old system, you had to like go on top of the cone and line up directly, so it's a lot harder for the driver and operator. But this one, it should be much faster once we get practice with it. We basically just put this on the other day, so we're still very new to all of this.
So you mentioned an interesting thing about buying part of this on Amazon. How much of this do you purchase, and how much of this do you actually have to make?
Yeah, so I would say about half of our robot is like materials that we can get off of, robotics companies, but we make a lot of the parts ourselves. So we have around 30 custom parts in our robot. We do that with our 3D printer. We have lots of 3D printed parts on there. And then we also have a CNC machine. So that's able to cut out some of the pieces for us, so the drivetrain plates, for example. And then we also have a laser cutter. So we don't personally have it, but our mentor has one. And so he's able to cut pieces for us. But we do all the designing in CAD, and then we're just able to easily transfer it over and get them printed.
All right, designing in CAD. That's a great phrase that we probably need to unpack a little bit more for those who aren't familiar with design and engineering. What do you mean by designing in CAD?
Yeah, so CAD stands for computer-aided drafting. So through that, we can kind of make parts. It's kind of like drawing from bases. We can put things together. We can, joint them together.
So taking your idea, using a computer to help you draft it, and then take that draft in, and then take the design idea to the next step of actually creating it, whether it's 3D printing or cutting.
So we basically use our CAD as kind of like instructions for actually building the robot.
Fascinating. All right. So does everybody just want to run the controls for the robot? Do you all get a chance to run the controls for the robot? I know everybody has a place on the team, but
I mean, yeah, I think everyone would love to drive the robot. It's really fun. So we actually went through a process of deciding who would be on a drive team, because basically everyone on the team wanted to be a part of it. So we did actual tryouts to see who is best on the as the driver and operator. Yeah,
in team competition. I love this. So when you mentioned kind of taking an idea from another team, when you're at competitions, do you actually go around and look at everybody else's robots and kind of see what they did to kind of glean some ideas from what other teams have done?
Yeah, so a big part of the robotics competition is scouting. So seeing what other teams have and seeing how they compare either with you or against you, but also just to see their designs. So a big part of that is it really helps with strategy in your game whenever you're going up against them. If you know that they can score 5 cones in 10 seconds, well, now we have to outscore that in order to compete up against them. But it isn't just in the competition, but also YouTube and online is a big source that we use to, because a lot of teams like us, we have a YouTube channel, so we post things that we have. So a lot of teams do that in order to share what they have and also help build other teams up, kind of hitting on that gracious professionalism again. Yeah,
so the gracious professionalism is really the core concept of FIRST. And so being able to share your ideas with others, not kind of keeping them to yourself, but being able to help other teams to do their best, not just you doing your best. It's a big part of the program.
It's gracious professionalism. What do you do when the cone gets stuck halfway and doesn't go all the way on the goal there?
It's a little frustrating, but we just tap it a few times with the robot. It usually slides back on.
This is so fun to watch.
It is. I'm distracted while I'm trying to ask questions. So really the time that you spend this year is, in terms of design and working together as a team to design, engineer, build, and then practice with that is not the only time that you put into it, because it sounds like all the experience that you have from previous years is certainly helpful in your design and build for this year as well. And Cal, this is year 6 for you, is that right?
Yeah, 6th year in FTC, but this is my 10th year in FIRST, the program in general.
Wow. So, and several of you have been involved for several years. What are some ideas that are in this year's design that you've brought from previous years, whether it's from your own designs or from other teams?
So I would say one idea is the actual rubber band spinners. So this is a design that we've used a couple times in the past, not quite to this extent though. So lots of teams use kind of rubber band spinners to just go on top of the cones, but this idea is unique in that it is able to collect from a 45-degree angle, as you might be able to see on the live stream if you're watching, to be able to collect off the ground and just kind of suck it in without even having to do any operating controls, just spinning it. So yeah, we try to look at ideas that have worked in the past, but also iterate on them to make them even better to work for this design.
So we have just under 2 minutes left. What's coming next for your team? You have a competition this weekend, is that right?
Yes. So this Saturday is our 3rd league meet. So we'll go and our robot will perform in 5 matches. And then aside from that, on February 11th, we have our qualifier. So that's where we will be judged in front of judges, as well as we will have our competitions, and then that we will have semifinals and finals for robot. So when we go to that determines if we advance to state or not. And
if anyone's interested, the 3rd league meet is at the Granite City High School. Matches start at 1 o'clock. So if anyone's really interested in seeing this, it's going to be at Granite City High School. There'll be a bunch of teams there. You can walk around, see the robots, and just see how everything works and see teams working together. It's really a cool, neat thing to go see.
You can also check us out on Instagram and YouTube and watch videos of our robot performing and kind of keep up with our team.
What are you looking forward to at these competitions? You guys put a lot of work into this robot and into the teamwork and all of these things. What are you guys really looking forward to when you go into these competitions? And the qualifier, maybe making it to state.
Yeah.
We have about 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Hoping it doesn't break.
Yeah, we may have had a battery fallout in our one of our matches at last meet, so we're hoping that doesn't happen this time. But yes, I'm really excited for this next competition. Hopefully our new system, our collection system, will be able to perform very well, and score lots of points.
Very good. How can we find you on social media?
Search just Robo Raiders FTC 7129, and you'll probably find us.
Robo Raiders FTC 7129. Thanks so much, Robo Raiders, for coming back to the studio today and sharing Rotato with us in studio.
Thank you for having us.
So good.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.